As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail out of the building. Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. Buti hindi pinapatay si Seb, no? Ang ghost.
Oo, ano siya, good guard siya, good guard. Hindi
So,
siya pinapansin.
the ghost be like, well, you're a good fellow.
Ah,
Making an
Matutulog
honest
lang to ulit.
living.
Tutulog lang to, huwag natin idamay.
Uh, However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I faced tonight, we really can't care less who will see us on our way out. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther, the better. Just not sure if that also means being safe. It almost got us, damn it. The fucking thing almost had us. Shit. It was only by luck that we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck. Had the blasted thing not worked in the last second, I need some air. Fresh, breathable air that doesn't stink like death and gore all at once.
Kailangan
And
mo Yossi.
kailangan ni Yossi pa. Limang usok ng tambucho.
Tambutso ni Shirley, pare. Usok ni Shirley.
I'm panicking. Christ, losing focus. With another person here, I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. Can't lose it when another person's depending on me.
Remember your training, Frey.
But I thought you weren't trained for that.
Oo nga
Di ba sinabi niya yun sa elevator?
Oh,
Isn't in my training manual. Okay. Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After that little incident, somewhere open would be good. Ito lang yung journey. Kasi, ito ba yung day na ano? Yung QTE rin ni Zack? Kasi if it
I don't think
is,
so.
wala yung ano. Ano nakalagay ba yun sa ano? Kasama sa ano?
Yun sa October 28. Ay, 27 pala. Yan yung nakita niya yung ano. Di ba yun?
Hindi dito yun. Ibang day pa to eh. Kasi di ba after nito,
Um,
pumunta siya yung, pumatok siya kila Luke. Tapos ano,
Oo.
ito yun eh, yung sumama siya sa shopping.
Oo.
Then binisita niya yung priest. I think it's either sa 28 siya or ngayon 29. Kasi if ngayon yun, pagkakaalala ko kasi ano eh, kikita-kita para magkukumpulan, magbi-meeting sila sa ano, apartment ni Isabella to talk about, you know, the ghost thing. We'll see.
Oo.
Someplace I won't get trapped. In the park. Luxbourne Park brings a welcome relief, though only by some. Chill that has seeped in my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there are plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? Those deaths. Just how many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be that the one she has shown us is just one of five, maybe even more? That whole pass this to five people business is ridiculous. But at this point, is it still? Ano yun, no? Siguro malaking ano dito, malaking inspiration nila dito is yung The Ring. Kasi
Oo,
diba
pwede.
ano, ganun yung sa The Ring, yung tape, 7
Yung
days.
tape.
Anyways, all in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter. 7 of them deceased. 8 if we count Cooper. That's only with what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing. We are in any way affected. Imagine mo paano kung kumalat na kumalat na kumalat yung letter. Tapos buong bansa na nila cursed. Parang na siyang ano,
Kaya
parang na siyang pandemic.
busy-busy na si ano nun, boy.
Yung ghost. Busy, busy, busy. Tayo na. Kailangan na niya mag-recruit ng ano,
Oo, gago.
another.
Magka-outsource na siya, pare.
Oh.
Mag-outsource.
How many more people are suffering? How many are missing? How many are dead? And I still even blame the rights for this. If anything, they might be in danger as well. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How do we get out of this mess? How do we get away from it? Still so many things we need to look into. Yet all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
Ashton, I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
It's the first time Isabella has said anything. She's, she's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distracting than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone who's just seen something terrible. Sanay na siya, pare.
O, sanay na, boy. Siya una eh.
Oo. But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized to things at some point, even someone like Isabella. Who knows what's going on inside her head, though? Inside mine, there are too many, and none of them would sit still.
I'm not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I didn't inhale anything weird. Just shit. Shit. Isabella, please tell me that wasn't.
What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth, one that she could barely contain.
You're laughing. You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Told you so. I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts out from her.
I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there.
Yes,
Pala po.
right. Sure. I'm not the one who's panicked. You almost ripped my arm off.
Yeah, but
Isabella, this isn't funny. We could have ended up dead.
Hey, you didn't say this sentence. That woman almost got us.
Ano?
I know. I'm really sorry. But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
I'm not scared.
Yes, you are.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I'm not, all right? I'm just. I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after, the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies in her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit, and it has finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone. Because she has been warning us of this since day one, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right? Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's desperation in there, quiet plea.
Don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. All feels wholly undeserved, considering the way I've treated her. Yet, despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her cold in kind, a grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. Uy, yun na yun? October 30. Sa previous chapters, walang umabot ng October 30, no? Ito pa lang. Hindi meron.
Hindi meron.
Si
Si
Rebecca
Rebecca.
and si Zach. Si Rebecca and si Zach. Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft foot, foot, footballs echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. The scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles.
Everybody.
Okay. The world slows to a stop. The bell's room. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that has driven me from sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the last remnants of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams from the open windows when the memory sets in and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly towards her prone form. She's hunched over the coffee table, both her arms under her head while she continues to rest. Then, to the chaos of papers and folders we've left scattered over it, before sleep has claimed both of us. We've bunkered down here last night after both our nerves have calmed down. Mine, for the most part. Staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us wants to remain alone when there's that woman. Is she still one in the first place? One that we'd normally call a human? Can it still feel guilt? Does it understand pain?
Fuck, I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day.
Not that thinking about this still matters when all our lives are in her hands. She's dangerous. If we don't do anything about her and this curse, we'll definitely be pushing Daisy soon. I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough, left all my friends in harm's way after the warnings they've all given me. Besides, beneath the terror and the adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella makes it hard not to take action. Paper sitting on the edge of the table calls my attention. At this, light against my hand when I reach for it. It has caught my eye the night before, but with the lot we still need to go through, I've simply ignored it. The logo, emblazoned at the top of the page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely her.
A scholarship grant, huh?
Oh wow. I can't read it. I've only ever heard of her talk about this once or twice, completing her degree, that is. She rarely goes about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact that she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. She too old? She's 26. It has been 5 years after all, but I've caught enough snippets of conversation between her and Zach to know she has never given up on it. Despite how things have panned out with her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as this may sound, coming from a friend, I'd like to give her the chance to have this. Whether this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring what the deal with this curse is, I'll do so. If only to see that same smile on her from that time again. These days, the only moments she seems to show it is when she's asleep. Like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. Smile of my own forms despite this, and I glance at her sleeping form again. She hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You won't think she has any problems this way.
If only that were true.
Sighing, I place the paper back where I've gotten it, carefully, so I won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off my makeshift bed. Isabella shifts when I carry her off from the floor and over to her bed, but she doesn't wake. Simply tucks herself comfortably under the covers as I pull over her. Briefly though, she mumbles something to herself and draws in another deep breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep after, like it hasn't been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier. But a small smile on her lips remain. One I find myself returning in kind.
Who sleeps like a rock now?
Hindi siya natulog.
Iyaz. Kasi ano daw, ayaw nilang mapag-isa kasi, baka may damumu.
Oo. Okay.
It's better this way, better to leave her to her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've had. She'll have time to worry about her problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her. A moment of respite, no matter how fleeting. She deserves it after everything she has been put through, what I've put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check on them. Cold, Luxborn air meets me upon stepping out the hallway. Not unusual in itself, that is what Luxborn's weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, damp for the most part, and more often than not, terribly drab, with an occasional sprinkling of rain every few hours. The sky is still clear, but I'll give it a day or 2 before the weather takes a turn for the worse. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something still normal in the world when I can no longer think the same for the situation we're in. Nightmare. That's probably all this is. Usually I'll say I've been through worse, but that's simply another lie I've often told myself, isn't it? I've fed myself a great deal of lies through the years just so I won't have to think about it the next day. Liar! Why do you lie?
Lights of Ash.
October 30. Anong day ba? Sunday. Maybe we won't even have this problem if I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Z-Man has mentioned dreaming about a woman. Whether it's the same one we've been seeing, I've yet to ask. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Bakit kasi napaka-vague nila mag-usap?
Oo nga.
Sinabi ni Zach na the dreams are getting worse, di ba? And there's a woman. Bakit hindi nila tinanong, what does the woman look like? So, baka kasi pareho, di ba? Di ba? Bakit napaka-vague kasi? Tangin nyo, ask for details. Di ba?
Masyado silang secretive pa rin.
Oo nga eh. Hindi naman hindi naman mahirap i-describe yung woman, yung ghost. Like sabihin mo lang na there's like wounds all over her body, blood
Black hair.
all over her, black hair, and bones crunching with every move. Kasi di ba, that's how they all describe it eh. Pag sa
Oo nga.
mga
Tsaka yung
text.
laging sound na
Oo, yun, di ba? Pag, ano ba naman? Walang mararating yung tropahan na to, pare.
wala pa rin.
At pala, pinatay na lang natin silang lahat eh. Tayo. Ano ba naman mga to? Pero ikaw, pag may ghost, pupunta ka ba sa pare?
Pare.
Sa
Siguro.
priest? Ano ko sabi sa'yo
Kasi most,
ng priest? Dasal lang yan.
kasi kung ako, kung binigyan ako dalawang option, professor tsaka ng pare, pupunta ko pareho yun.
Oo, actually. Pareho. To have like opinions, differing opinions from two different specialties, I guess, kung ano ba. Professions.
Yeah.
Anyway. Bottom line, nabasa ko na to. Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. He does. What can any of us do when all of us lacks any understanding of what's happening? One thing's clear about this, however, is that thing is after us because of the letter. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it too. We'll go after them as well. Yet here I am, walking up Becca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head in a better order. How to phrase this when there's a 90% chance she's still pissed about a whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour Isabella and I arrived. We'll only alarm her by showing up in her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics. Babbling lunatic. Yeah. I'm gonna use that from now on. And her anger can last quite a while. What?
Ha? What?
Nani?
Wala ako. Wala.
May sinabi ka kaya?
Binasa ko lang yung babbling yun. I don't know.
Lunatic. These days, it seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella. But even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking. Once, twice, and 3 times just to be sure she has heard me, even if she is asleep. She's usually awake by now, though.
Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed.
October 30. Ito yung araw na pumunta ng library si ano eh. Ito. So I'm guessing wala siya sa apartment. Wala siya naman. Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. I've been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the worst, and in the next minute, concern has mixed in with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on the door louder this time. Bakit hindi mo lang tawagan? Di ba? And it is said na hindi iniiwan ni Rebecca na naka-silent yung phone niya. So bakit hindi
Oo
mo
nga.
lang? Kasi pag yan, kumakatok ka, like early in the morning, kumakatok ka, magagalit yung mga anong kapitbahay, pare. Galit yung landlord.
Galit sila parang. Galit si
Mm.
mama.
I'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than a dead body.
Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up. I know you're.
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy.
See? My point exactly. Tingnan mo, nakaistorbo na siya.
So if you can do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking polite.
See? Right? My hand pauses short of landing another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks in through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blanket. I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheet, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole too, course of action, so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the planet. He's not an asshole. You're the asshole here. You're waking people up.
Yes. It's too early.
Oh my. Has has done me wonders when I was a rookie patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper.
Oh, did she say where she was going?
Do you think she said he was probably asleep that time? Ngayon lang siya nagising kasi ang ingay mo. Ah, and I think he is kinda awake or maybe, I don't know. Kasi sinabi
Siguro
nung,
gising siya nun kasi alam niyang umalis eh.
alam niya umalis eh. So siguro naalimpungatan lang, di ba? Tumingin, uy, umalis. Tapos natulog ulit. Siguro, di ba? But, malabo pa rin sabihin yan. I'm anticipating the response of the neighbor. Dapat savage pa rin siya dito sa response niya.
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks.
Okay, so sinabi, pinaalam mo. Filipina girl over there.
But what am I, her keeper? You know some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down.
Yung
Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git.
Damn git. Nagising na ako. Ang ina mo eh.
Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your.
He slams his door shut without warning, but not before muttering a string of very colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear him inside the four walls of his apartment. He probably said that, so, sinadya niya yan para marinig mo.
Jerk.
At the end of it, a sigh. So, Rebecca's not here. I must have missed her by an hour or so. But at least she's not alone. She could be safe, in theory. More so if the person she's meeting with is who I am thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing, continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. Ah,
layo pa ang puta.
Tapos hindi gumalaw, no? Hindi, gumalaw.
Ay, gumalaw naman.
Dito tayo nag-start eh. Gumalaw naman tayo. Few inches. To act brashly to find out where she is, and go straight there without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach, to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same for the big guy. Simple phone call to the both of them should do the trick. Yeah, yun nga dapat una mong ginawa. Huwag ka na lang. It'll ease my nerves at any rate. Better than rushing over to Zach's place or assuming Rebecca's whereabouts and finding out they're not where I've guessed they should be. Assuming the worst will come next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason, I won't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. This is one, right? Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls judgment. Something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Any means to calm it will do wonders for the muddled mess my mind is already in. Ooh, that. Close friends. Zach, Rebecca, Isabel. Others. Others daw. Wow. Others si Chief. Si Abigail. Bakit walang DP si Abigail? Why does she look like that? Looks like Slender Man. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through the screen until it ends up on a group with only Zach's, Rebecca's, and Isabella's numbers listed. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance on this. To some extent, it's true. I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with through the years. Colleagues, blockmates from uni, neighbors, those sort of people. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason, without wanting or asking for anything. Like the others, none has Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabella's eyes. One day, these guys are just there. The next thing I know, being with them eases it. That heavy, somber feeling lingering in the air when you stand alone in your apartment. Something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. I'll say it's loneliness, but this carries much more depth than that. If I can help it, I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. Phone call may be the least comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with them right now, but I'll take what I can get. Becca first. She'll get angry at me for worrying about her. She isn't some helpless damsel in distress after all. She isn't the shy little girl I knew when we were children. We're already far from the people we were back then, but that's more than enough reason to check in on her. I don't have to imagine her taking anything head on. She'll do it, instead of asking for help when she needs it. I don't care if she gets mad at me, if only to know that she's fine. A ring. In the silence of the hallway, its sound alone might as well be sharp enough to pierce through my ears. Another second passes. 2, 3. But when, on the ninth ring, it goes straight to her voicemail, cold feeling instantly lodges in my stomach.
Rebecca Gales here. You've reached my voicemail. Sorry if I can't get to you right now. Oh, and if this is Isabella, yes, you're free to reheat the food in my fridge. Otherwise, leave a message.
Probably just busy, that's all. Though I still barely manage to keep my voice even when I speak.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
Becca will be alright. Is alright. She's safe. She's with someone else. In the event that woman shows up, she'll have someone with her. Someone she'll be able to ask for help. He's safe. Opium. Too much copium, Ash. She can handle herself. Becca might have a fiery temper, but she knows when she's faced with something she can't handle herself. Rebecca will see my missed call and she'll call me back. Though I don't express it enough, Rebecca is someone I consider important to me. Hey, it's this again. He's been my friend for the longest. Anybody else would have been fed up with me and left. The girl stuck by me no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, like I was there. No one believes it when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and as a horrible teen. Issues, I've too many of them to count and refuse to deal with for a time. At least that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years, thanks to the professor mostly. But at times, I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation. Looking back at it now, I had no reason to direct all my frustration towards everyone else. While I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep it to myself and turning those negative feelings into more productive things. I've grown distant from a lot of people because of it. From my old friends back in my old school and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering why me. In retrospect, I was a selfish little bastard who thought the world revolved around me. That I shouldn't have been going through it. I believed my behavior was entitled, that I had the right. Tough times, but she stuck with me. Snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she sees the chance to bring it up. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend nevertheless. I owe her a lot. That won't change.
Damn it. Where are you, Becca?
Another message left on her voicemail, then on my third call, I hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than to wait for her to return my calls. Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Zach, on the other hand, that guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Doesn't help how he hasn't been too hot lately with a lot of people. The mention of plans yesterday doesn't sit too well with me either. Might be the next responsible adult after Rebecca, out of the four of us, but I've still got to check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay, at the very least, whatever he has planned on doing. All I'm asking is for it not to be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things. Rational or irrational, it doesn't matter. Clear thinking flies out the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he has not found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers, or his voicemail at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah? And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he has forgotten to charge it. Can't be. The guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout, even more than I am as a cop. He's the type who has an extra battery or a power bank in his bag if he ever needs it. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it, but he's got a You guys, I think that's it's not in the proper order. But he's got quite a roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will likely be looking for him. He always leaves his connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. That is reliable like that.
Why isn't anyone answering?
His mobile in an out of range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of it doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said. And even if he didn't believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or try to do something. If he ends up trouble if he ends up in trouble doing whatever it is, so help me, I'm going to. Well, I can't be rash. I'm aware of that. Been running the same reminder in my head since last night. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty.
Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in and, yeah, just please call me back.
It's usually a joke between us when I say he's the Watson to my Sherlock. I don't see him as some assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some petty friend I keep around to make myself look good.
If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity.
Zach's the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of a cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, I was hard-headed, hot-tempered, and a reckless rookie, up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden, and some part of me is still that rookie. But I've grown, thanks to him. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Becca and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach, he's probably the closest thing I'll call to a best friend, though it's more than that. Camaraderie no words can express. He has my back and I always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck of ever having. Only child and all.
And I have every reason to worry about my brother.
Becca's neighbor did say she went out to meet with someone. No specific names. If I'm wrong and she's not with Professor Clark, then maybe it's with Zach. They've never been close, but it's not the kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continue dialing for his phone another 3 times like I've done with Becca's. Hey. Some development. In the end, after the 3rd attempt, with no one answering, I stop and move to cut the call with a ragged exhale.
Waiting game it is then.
I've been trained for those. Hell, I'm used to them. Just not when it comes to people I'm close to. Much as I keep reminding myself to maintain a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. Starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling, causing a racket inside my stomach. And that's exactly when the line finally connects. Before he even speaks, my question has already slipped out, including every pent-up worry and tension in my body.
Where are you?
The line's choppy, though I can still make out the words he's saying. Nothing to worry about then. He's just someplace where network coverage is shitty. Can't imagine we're at this time of the morning though. Did he go out for a jog?
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
I've meant that to sound as friendly as possible, to keep things light at least. Instead, only the frustration shows in my tone.
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even...
Please don't tell me that's his plan. Morning visit to the mansion, where Luke Wright is. Of all the pig-headed things to do right now, it's the best thing he can come up with. Breaking and entering? I've got a plenty of reasons to rail at him right now. Although, no matter how much I want to give him a piece of my mind, unfortunately, it's not the time.
No, wait. Just get your ass to Isabella's place and hurry.
He pauses a moment, second of indecision while he seems to contemplate his option.
How urgent is this?
In truth, the question, the hesitance, and the indecision in his voice has caught me completely off guard, and understanding dawns on me. His decision to go there isn't one born out of a stupid impulse. He must have found something. However, no matter how urgent it is, he still shouldn't have gone there, alone at that. Despite myself in that split second of comprehension, I allow it to show a weakness. Simple request brimming with every unease and disquiet causing turmoil within me since last night. It bears a selfish hope that he'll understand, even through the unstable signal, that whatever's keeping him there, he'll be willing to set it aside for now.
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach.
Silence fills the other end of the line of it. For a long moment, I assume he won't heed it, and I'll have to drive there myself, just to drag him away from whatever danger he's skirting. Thankfully, he agrees.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
Thanks, I'll see you.
Relief washes over me as soon as the call ends. Journal. Normally, I don't let myself a moment of respite in times like this. Gotta stay alert. Rebecca's still out there, has yet to return any of my messages. But for the moment, I relish in it. This is probably the first time I've permitted myself to do so since last night. Even the muscles in my shoulders have been complaining from all the tension I've taken on. It still annoys me that all I can do right now is grit my teeth and trudge back to Isabella's apartment. Useless. That's what I am in the face of this. Mad dash around Luxbourne and Anslem isn't going to help things. Not like I'll simply stumble across them on the side of the road during a drive. The city's too big a place for one person to go searching for only two people. I'll be lucky if I even glimpse the hair of either of them. With one last hopeful glance towards the open skies, I slip back into Isabella's apartment and close the door behind me. I might have already grown used to this, but the waiting will always be the hardest part. More so when it's the people you care about.
You're up early. I thought you left.
Oh, good morning, Isabella. This is not the first time I've seen Isabella like this. Standing casually by her kitchenette, a ladle in hand, keeping an eye on whatever's stewing on the stove, while humming a soft tune under her breath. 5 years ago, it has become a common sight after the three of them, including Zach and Rebecca, found a mutual interest in cooking. After that, whenever our schedule allows it, one of them will invite everyone to dinner or lunch instead of eating out. Rebecca prefers it that way, healthier, she claims. That's just too happy to be able to cook for everyone. Isabella, on the other hand, as long as there's food, she's happy. Me, I've been banned from the kitchen ever since the pressure cooker incident. Easier times. Good times. Right now, however, the scene brings an odd sense of normalcy. A strange fit with all of the things going on around us. Not unwelcome, only bizarre, I suppose. Isabella doesn't follow up on her question earlier, but she does raise an eyebrow my way when I take too long to answer. For that, I only offer a casual shrug in response and a short answer.
I've checked with Zach and Rebecca. I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
I'll add in a quip or two for her if the timing for a joke isn't off, or doing so won't be inappropriate. I don't want to alarm her either. There's no reason to. Yet. Until Zach gets here, or until I've received an answer from Rebecca, whichever comes first. Nevertheless, it's clear she has plenty of questions. It's right there in the subtle crease between her eyebrows and the inquisitive gleam in her eyes. Curious as she is, though, she decides against voicing all of her questions out. Instead, she shifts her attention back to the stove and gestures vaguely with her hand in the couch's direction.
Well, if we're going to wait for them, don't stand around there. It's getting distracting.
You're just cooking. How am I distracting?
I don't know. Something might explode again, maybe. Zach's kitchen ban for you is also in effect here, you know. Now shoo, go. Stop hovering. You'll ruin the food. I'll be done here soon.
She leaves no room for an argument by swatting the ladle at me, and just like that, I've been kicked out of the kitchen. Left with nothing else to do, I drift back to her tiny living space and slump down on the couch. Closing my eyes, I allow the noise from the television to guide my thoughts. The ones I've been keeping at bay, freeing them from the cage I've built around them, so I won't have to think. One by one, they trickle back into my consciousness, each more frightening and unnerving than the other. So many things going on. So many things happening. The papers we've gotten from BRC doesn't provide any comfort either. Seriously, is there even a point to those after last night? What will asking those people do? If anything, this only proved there might be more copies of that dumb piece of paper. If we have one here, but how many exactly is there out there? More importantly, how do we get out of this stupid mess?
Ashton.
Damn it, I haven't felt this kind of bone-weary exhaustion in years.
I don't want to think what might happen next in case I miss something. Shit.
Rebecca, Zach, Isabella.
They're all depending on me, and
Ash!
The voice snaps me out of my thoughts, abruptly wiping away everything running a racket inside my head. Suddenly, Isabella's there, crouched in front of me when I crack an eye open. I haven't even noticed the exact moment when I've bent over and buried my head in my hands. Figures why she's staring at me like I've fainted or something. The crease on her eyebrows grow deeper at my lack of response. Although she's merely staring at me, without saying a word, her expression says everything. So much for trying not to alarm her with bad news.
sorry, I just spaced out for a moment. Don't mind me.
For a brief moment, she seems to accept that. Quietly, she shifts, hands up, and takes the empty space right beside me. All done without a single comment. Then, the next thing I know, she's gently pushing a bowl in my hands. Uy, Champorado. The scent reaches me first, before I've gotten the chance to take in what she has just handed me. A faint, sweet smell of cocoa wafts from the dish. Calming, comforting. Despite the multitude of things bothering me, it certainly smells like the kind of food you'll eat on a rainy day. Yep, with tuyo. Yes. Though, from the get-go, it doesn't look as appetizing. What is this, even? Porridge? Why would you put chocolate in it, and milk drizzled on top? Tells me my tastes are weird, yet here she is, handing me something equally as strange. In fact, she has already started digging in hers. I'm just not sure if the taste will be equally as appealing. Baffled, I glance her way. She offers no immediate answer, simply continues eating as if she hasn't done so in a week, with her focus solely on the television. She's not watching, however, just listening. The background noise. The voices from it seems too cheerful, a welcome distraction if anything. Only after she has finished off half the bowl does she acknowledge the question in my eyes. With a sigh, she cradles the dish on her lap and looks down at it. Briefly, her lips part, then closes. A hesitation, though I don't push her. There's a distant air on her, as if she has remembered something that warrants a poignant thought. Poignant thought? When she speaks at last, it's in a tone too careful, like she's still weighing her words, considering the proper phrasing for it. Yet, sincerity underlies each syllable once they're out in the open.
You should eat. Back at home, Mom would never let us leave the house if we hadn't eaten breakfast yet. Even Papa has got an earful when he tried. So eat. You'll need it.
Nangyari,
Returns
nangyari.
to... Ha?
Ano nangyari? Ano may tumawag na naman? Oh shit.
Kumakain sila ng champorado.
Ulul.
Oh, pinakita kanina yung champorado, pero it's gone now.
No.
Man. She returns to her food afterwards, while I can only stare at the one she has proffered not a few minutes ago. Pero, porridge? Why would you put chocolate in it and milk drizzled on top?
Champorado pare.
Champorado. Warm against my hands, tempting me to take a bite. Not that I don't appreciate this, but what good will this do? Zach and Rebecca's both out there. Who knows when that ghost will show up again? Even in our dreams, we're not safe. But that's it, isn't it? We don't know when, and at the present, we have a chance at respite. Maybe the only one we'll have. Even if it's as mundane as sharing food between us. Quietly, just seating side by side like this. What seating? Di ba that was sitting? Just sitting side by side like this.
Oo na.
Weird. Without exchanging any words. The intent hangs unspoken in the air, something that probably goes as far back as the second she offered food. Still, in the end, Isabella's never pushes it. Bakit may apostrophe S? Dumadami ng mga typo nila, pare.
Tapos daw.
Still, in the end, Isabella never pushes it. Rather, she lets her own silence convey her hope. Oh. Whether I'll allow myself that break, she leaves it to me. Siyempre, take her offer para umatang relationship.
Thank you.
Yo no.
Pero
Words.
kailangan natin puno kay Rebecca.
Kailangan natin
Kailangan
pala
natin
yung kay Rebecca pa. Ay, poopsie. Wrong one. This one. Yun lang. Parang siguro dalawang choices, I guess. Depende sa dagdag.
Ngayon ko lang napansin, ang weird ng picture niya. Ang laki ng ulo niya.
Oo nga. Lalo na kay Kylie, di ba?
Oo, kay Kylie po.
Ito parang itong kay hindi, medyo malaki pa rin pero
Medyo malaki pa.
ito hindi. Sakto to,
Yun yung
sakto.
pinaka
Okay.
pinaka exact. Or is it just the hair?
Maybe it's just the hair. Oh, kasi ang lalaki ng buhok nila eh. Ito yung ponytail.
Parang ang lalaki na.
Ito yung kay Hana, okay lang.
Saks lang yun, kaya medyo lang.
It's just the hair, I guess. The words roll off my tongue, awkward and unfamiliar, far removed from those jests and quips we've shared. Yet she accepts this with a smile and nothing more. Regardless of everything left unsaid, the sight of it brings comfort. More so than any generous offer of food can give. Though we both lapse into silence after as we finish our food, there's ease in it, in this, and the muffled sounds of Luxborn filtering into the room. In the light streaming from her windows and the faint draft occasionally drifting in, catching the loose tendrils of her hair. In the way her voice falters when she tries to form words. And despite the horror looming over us, I find myself wishing for the minutes to slow, for the seconds to last. But ultimately, she's the one who breaks it. Softly, after a minute's pause, in words mumbled under her breath. Sometimes a silence simply compels us to speak.
I've been wondering, before last night, before Mama told me the news. What if Papa passes away, despite everything? That sort of thing. I know it's not good to think about, but...
Kaya naman pala, you jinxed it. Namatay yung tatay mo because you jinxed it. You thought about it. Your fault.
I also knew it was getting worse.
Hmm.
Mama won't say anything, but I've always known that one day he'll eventually...
She releases a sigh as her grip on the bowl she still holds tightens. There are no tears, but she might as well have them with how weak her voice falls. Are there even any left?
I don't know what I'm going to do. Before, I can easily say it's because of Papa. Now,
Because of your younger brothers.
I don't have
Balikan lang.
anything.
You have that scholarship from LuxU.
Uy. Ayaw nga pala, di ko lang kung naabutan mo, meron nga pala siyang scholarship sa Luxborn University. Nag-aaral na ulit siya, or nagbabalak.
Sa kaninong chapter yun sinabi?
Dito lang. Ashton chapter lang. Nakita lang ni Ashton kanina.
Oh, nice.
Were you going through my personal papers while I was sleeping last night?
I don't really have to. You left it sitting in the open, right there on the table.
Like there's still anything to hide. He snatches it away from where I've placed it back earlier. Except there's no anger or annoyance in her face when she looks at it and rereads every line with a pensive expression. After a short while, she folds it neatly along the creases and sets it back.
I don't even know if this will work out.
Well, if it doesn't, what about that exhibit you've been planning with Zach?
Do I even have to ask where you got that?
Zach sucks at lying. You have no idea how easy he is to read. It was all in his face when I asked about it. And anyway, if that doesn't pan out too...
I trail off, hesitating, measuring the weight of my next words. Genuine as they are, part of me believes they're a burden, too heavy to impose upon her. Because no matter how much I want her to stay, we are not what ties her here. It will be selfish to ask that of her. More than anything, her family will always come first. I say it, nevertheless, if only to let her know that no matter what her choice will be, there will The people here whose lives her mere presence has changed. Mine, most of all.
You have us.
Yuck.
Binago niya yung
Yuck.
buhay ng mga iba kasi puta namatay sila dahil sa kanya eh. Lalo si Rose.
Pinahamak mo kami lahat. Hayop ka. The words startle her to a pause, and slowly she turns to me, her eyes wide, disbelief all over her face. But before regret forces an apology up my throat, her expression dissolves to something I can't quite place. Ayun, yun yung Champorado.
Uy, puta.
Something distinctly softer, more tender, familiar. Almost in the same manner she glanced at me years ago that day at the bridge. However, I don't get the chance to figure out what it all means for her. Uy, relationship status updated. What? Nothing happened.
Come on.
Weird. All of a sudden, a knock breaks the moment, and just as fast, both our attention shifts toward the source. Before things can get awkward fast, I stand up to open the door while muttering some flimsy excuse in the process. Ito, is this Rebecca or Zach?
I'll get that. It's probably Zach or Rebecca.
Really, I know we're in a pinch, but their timing can't get any worse. Unrelated frustrations aside, once I fling the door open, a whole chunk of the stone that has been stuck at the pit of my stomach simultaneously unseats itself.
Natay siya pare.
Zach. What's up, Zach? There, in the hallway, stands Zach, his hand raised, ready for another knock. Although he's not at his most presentable at the moment, ruffled and drenched with sweat as he is, relief quickly washes over me like a tide. He's still panting when he pushes me aside and heads in.
Pagulit ng kamay ni Zach.
Oh my.
Malit-lepis siya boy.
Hindi siya BBC, pare.
Oo pare.
SBC lang siya.
SBC.
The second his feet crosses the threshold, he scans the place, eyeing what little he can see of the room from the doorway.
Ako makikita niya yung panty ni Isabela sa ano.
Oo,
Ano
makita niyo panty dito, guys. Yun talaga hinahanap niya.
Okay.
When he finds none of whatever he's looking for, he turns to me with a questioning look, one that has a hint of panic in it.
You said it was urgent. Did anything happen? Is it Becca? Bella?
Everyone's fine. Well, Becca's not here. She went somewhere this morning and hasn't answered any of my calls yet. But Isabella's...
I'm here, Zach. Morning.
His weight shifts at the same time the stiff line in his shoulders eases. Once Isabella walks up to us and welcomes him with a smile.
Oh,
He...
wait.
Hmm?
So if this is the day na nagpunta si Becca sa library, if she died, so ibig sabihin tinawagan niya si Ash habang nandyan siya?
Oh, I'm guessing yun yung ibang pangyayari dito. Natawag si Becca. Kasi nandito tayong tatlo. Ganun. I'm guessing it's... Oh, we went up. Maybe it's here or here. Baka dito. Ito yun. Ay, nakita. Hindi mo pala nakita.
Hindi ko kita yung mouse.
Ito, basta after nito, di ba ito? Upper route, then magbo-branch dito. Then it closes here. Then magbo-branch ulit dito. Yeah. Sa gitna. Sa tingin ko itong babae yun.
Siguro.
Yung namatay si Rebecca Gale.
Si Rebecca. What was his name?
He relaxes then, returns her greeting in kind, As soon as he has let out the breath he has been holding, and the tension's finally off his body.
So, nothing's wrong? Why'd you call me here for then?
My explanation can wait. He has a lot of explaining to do. The fact that he went to Anselm alone, for some godforsaken reason, warrants a proper one. Ghosts or not, he's already been given a warning. It frustrates me to no end. This might be the plan he mentioned the last time we spoke. I get that he's worried about Hannah Wright. Somehow they've become friends, but that's not the issue here. Not when there's a murderous ghost who might go after one of us at any given time. Sure, Zach made it here in one piece by some dumb luck. He's alright, and this takes one off the list of people I need to worry about. Frankly, as annoyed as I am, I can't just stay angry at him when I look at the situation that way. Hell, if that call didn't connect in that exact minute, there might have been a chance he won't be standing. This is a blessing in itself. Hey, though, first things first, some things still need to be discussed. Oopsie daisy. Now, you promise you won't do anything stupid? You're okay.
I think yung pangalawa. You're okay.
Alright. Ito bababa to sure.
For sure.
Hey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except when I open my mouth, the only thing that spills from it is my own relief. Despite myself, despite the rational part of my brain screaming everything wrong about Zach's neat little plan. So, wait lang. Years long. Okay. May small bit of relationship pa rin pala si Ash kay Luke.
Oo, ano?
Like, very small. Kahit galit siya sa tao. We've had so many close calls within just a single night. Zach showing up in Isabella's doorstep, alive, whole, and unharmed. I might as well take comfort in that while I still can.
You're okay.
You did tell me not to do anything stupid.
Suddenly the
You did?
whole... What?
But he did do something stupid.
But you did do something stupid. Hindi man lang nagsasabi. Kahit sila Ash, no? Si Ash and si Isabella, hindi nila sinabi na punta sila ng BRC kay Zach. I mean, what kind of friends are you? Diba?
Walang
Keeping too many
kwenta.
secrets.
Magpinta.
Hindi man lang kayo nag-update. You motherfuckers.
Oo nga. Diba? Always update your homies.
Oh, pare. Always say goodnight to your homies. Suddenly, the whole room feels too heavy and all I'm able to do is drop down on the couch. Headaches also... Bakit may apostrophe S na naman? Kailangan yun. Anyway. A headache also threatens to burst in the same moment. Or perhaps this is what release from anxiety feels like. Regardless, I reach up a hand to pinch the bridge of my nose, even if it'll likely do nothing to alleviate the impending pain.
Christ, you were right there! We have this stupid curse thing going on, and you were right there! You just walked up inside a private property! Those people can easily sue you for breaking and entering, and that's the least of it.
I know, Ash. But I can't just leave things as they are. I've got to do something.
God damn it, Zach, I was worried!
Unexpectedly, he laughs, not the half-hearted sort he makes when he's awkward or coming up with an excuse. A genuine one. Before my annoyance grows again, and I snap at him, though, he suddenly catches me in a headlock. Hinidlock tayo, pare. His arms looping around my neck while he grind his knuckles against my skull. Helpless, I squirm under his grip in protest. Even then, it's hard to do so when you're up against a 6-foot pothole.
Zach!
Aw, he's worried. Why didn't you say so? That cool act ain't gonna fool me anymore.
Let go!
He relents soon enough, though only after he's done ample damage in my hair. I hate it when he does that. But for a few moments there, the tense mood finally lightened up and everything felt like how it used to be before this whole mess began. Makes appreciating little moments like this easier. Still,
Seriously, Zach. Why are you even there?
Told you already. I was looking for you.
Why would I even go there?
Well, you mentioned a plan with Isabella here. I assume that's where you guys went, since that's where she found the letter. Sorry. I was really at a dead end.
Kung nagsabi lang kayo na sa BRC kayo pupunta, di sana hindi pa napahamak si Zack.
yun nga di ba? All of this kasalanan lang talaga ni Ash. Hindi kasi kayo nag-update. Hindi kayo nagsabi kung saan kayo pupunta. Diba?
Tama.
Nagsabi kayo,
Tama na.
hindi mangyayari to. Hindi mangyayari to and hindi napakahaba ng chapter ni Ash. Oh, we went down. Oh, you're okay. The logic in it stuns me into silence, to say the least. Then I remember his hesitance, the tone he has taken before agreeing to go here, and all at once my anger from what he's done wanes. Partly, this is my fault or for keeping things vague. You see, it's not partly. It's wholly your fault.
Yes, it's wholly your fault.
Ano yung bago? Si Zack? Ah, yun. Yung dun
Oo,
nagi.
ito ay headlock. Puto. Kala ko headlock lang.
Laparig yung mga ginagi. I can't berate him for assuming that when I've only left him with vague answers.
You could have called me.
I did.
I didn't receive any and my phone was with me.
You're kidding, right? I was at it the whole night.
Yep, that's right. The whole atmosphere in the room changes into heartbeats. Back again to the tension-riddled one plaguing us. Zachary stares at me like I've grown another head, then gradually he shifts his attention to Isabella. The expression in his eyes, questioning, asking for a confirmation, like my word can't be trusted, not that I'm holding it against him. I can't even believe the things coming out of my mouth these past few hours. Meanwhile, Isabella stays quiet, has been like that for quite some time. She looks like she wants to disappear right now. Guilt, frustration, anger, fear, all of flashes fleetingly across her face before it melts away under an expression of worry. Annie, what?
Yung yung last line before this one, na imagine ko yung GIF na yung lalaking bigla na lang mag-ano. Bigla na lang
yung nag-peace.
mag-fade.
Peace. Tas nawala. Okay.
Please tell me he's joking. You were there?
No, we really didn't get any. Everything was quiet last night. But Zach, at BRC, Ashton and I saw.
He never gets to finish that.
Sup, I'm Ash from
Abruptly, my phone rings again, blaring its badly sang ringtone throughout the whole room. Ito na ata yung tawag kay Rebecca nun. If she died, ito yun. Well, we know na yun, sa timeline na to, she doesn't die. Tumawag pa rin. I'm guessing sa branching, ito nga yun, di ba?
Yun nga.
Yan nga. If Rebecca dies or she doesn't. I'm guessing dito tayo sa taas.
Taas siguro tayo kasi
Hindi namatay.
interactions.
Oh.
Both
Both of them pauses waiting when I pull it up to check the caller ID.
It's Becca.
It's Becca.
I'll tell her to get here as soon as she can. Excuse me.
I'm a cool dude, pretty
Without another word, I slip out of the room and answer the call. However... ito na. Story updated. We are right.
Yes.
Oh, you know, story update, Rebecca alive.
Oo, no? Nice.
Pero, sa tingin ko yung Rebecca alive, hindi dapat kasali yan. Nagkamali siguro sila dyan. Kasi tinan mo, yung ibang story update to yun. Ayun, story update lang, di ba? Pero ito, story update Rebecca alive. So, nagano yan. Nagkamali sila dyan.
Sa coding siguro yan.
However, the tone she assumes isn't what I'm hoping to hear.
Ashton, are you there?
Ragged, a bit out of breath, there's a tinge of urgency in it. Listening to her from my side of the line makes it seem like she has just run a marathon prior to this call.
Becca, where?
I got your message. What happened?
Nothing. Yet? Where are you?
Downtown. I had to make a quick visit to the library. Listen, Ash, about that thing Isabella has been talking about. There's something you guys need to...
Please tell me you didn't... Whatever. Save it for later. I'm at Salemwell. If you can get here as soon as possible, that'd be really great. This is related to that.
Pare, magkukumpul. Brainstorm!
You're there?
Scooby-Doo na sila.
Is Isabella with you?
What's your Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. We're gonna solve that mystery.
Yeah, Zach too.
With a quick press of the button, I switch on the loudspeakers and step back into Isabel's apartment. I hold out the phone towards the two, giving it 2 shakes, urging them to speak. Both are still carrying worried looks on their faces. Nako, pag sa ating ginawa ito, may umungol na. Oh my god.
Yamekte ko the stop.
No matter how, how serious the situation is, kahit minumulto na tayo, there's always room for jokes.
Yes, on film.
This should ease that.
Rebecca's asking for you two.
Becca? Is she okay? Hey, Becca!
Hello, Rebecca. Odd morning we having, eh?
Hey, you two.
Nagtaka pa siya.
What's happening over there? Is this something I should be worried about?
Nagtaka pa sino?
Si Becca. Ay, si Becca, si Isabel. Sabi niya, Becca? Pinoy na Pinoy. Di ba sinabi naman niya?
Sinabi naman niya before answering the call eh.
Si Becca yung kausap. Pinoy na Pinoy eh.
We'll tell you once you get here. Please, hurry.
I don't like the sound of that, Ash. But I'm on my way. Give me a few minutes. I'm driving.
She mumbles a goodbye, then hangs up. Becca's the last person I need to account for, yet that call left an even more strained tension in the room. So yeah, let's before we proceed, let's with the information na nag-gather nila, si Zach, ewan ko, useless si Zach, wala naman siya nag-gather, di ba? Wala siyang nag-gather na information eh.
Wala, nga.
Di ba, para pumunta lang siya dun sa bahay, Si Ashton and Isabella, they've gathered much information sa yung mga nag-work before sa house, di ba?
Yes.
Si Rebecca naman, yung information na nag-gather niya is the history itself.
Ay, yung
history mismo ng yung nangyari. And possibly, ito na. I'm not sure if she has a clue. Of course, tayo as players, alam na natin, that's the ghost, di ba? Pero siya as as the character, hindi natin alam if she knows na yun nga yun. So, who do you think has the most, yung may pinaka-vital information?
Pinaka-vital information. Para sa akin, si Becca. Kasi, mas marami silang maano doon sa history na parang mapipinpoint din nila kung ano yung reason.
Oo. Ayan. Para sa akin din si Rebecca kasi, di ba, yung sa... Kasi nakita din niya yung ano yung burning. Kasi itong article na pala na to, Lady Ermengarde just freed the slave, which is the ghost. Yung slave na to na nakatali. Then at another article, at another newspaper clipping, she burns that same slave na sinave niya. Puta ina. Burns at the stake. So, yeah, di ba? Rebecca has the greatest information of all.
Yeah.
Kasi from there, mapipiece mo na together eh.
Kasi yung information lang naman nila Isabel at saka ni Ash, parang mapipiece together nila kung sino yung mga tina-target.
Ang mga namatay, yung mga nag-work sa house.
Mga condition kung paano ka matatarget. Pero yung kay Rebecca is parang vital information para ma-solve kung paano nila matitigil yung yung
si Zack na walang kwenta. Diba? Wala siyang kwenta, bro, legit. Ano bang nalaman ni Zack? Sa chapter niya, wala, parang, napicturean niya, yun lang yun, di ba? And, yun lang yun. Wala siyang kwenta gagawin.
Parang yun lang, wala nga
Wala siyang kwenta gagawin. Wala, pinatay lang
ay,
natin
di
si
gago.
Zack.
Na niya na si Kylie.
Hindi, pero hindi niya hindi naman niya alam na kilala ni Kylie si Luke eh. 'Di ba? Na-connected si Kylie kay Luke, right eh. Parang na-meet lang ni Zack sa party out of nowhere. And, nakita niya yung creepy Kylie.
Sa bagay, nga.
Wala talagang kwenta si Zack. What the fuck? Why you do this game?
Tagagulo lang siya ng buhok ni Ash.
Oh. Anyway, thankfully we don't have to linger in it for too long. It only takes a matter of minutes to get here, and the second she steps into the room, Isabella clings to her.
I'm so glad you're okay.
Oh, safe and
Ashton
sound.
checked on you this morning, but...
All your friends are safe and accounted.
He did? I'm sorry. I was in a hurry. I didn't have time to drop by and let you know.
It doesn't matter. What's important is you're here.
Not burnt to a crisp or brutally murdered. Somewhere. Whole. Alive. Although she seems a bit shaken, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. At least now I can relax. Ease the pressure off my shoulders, if only by some.
Pero ang weird Kasi kung isipin mo yung death ni Rose, tsaka nung isa yung yung spontaneous human combustion. Pare silang nasunog, 'di ba?
Sino?
Si Rose. Di ba nasunog din si Rose?
Hindi nasunog si Rose. It was just sinabi lang na brutally murdered. Parang sinaksak ata, parang ganun.
Akala ko nasunog din siya since parang yung parang naalala ko na parang may burn marks yung kwarto niya.
And then ano lang yun? Yung sa kwarto lang ni Rose is help me. Yun lang.
Ay, help me nga pala nasa kanya. Akala ko burn marks. Okay. Never mind.
But the minute Isabella pulls away from her, she winces. Small reaction, the younger woman doesn't even catch it. It sets a precedence for a careful observation, nevertheless. A closer look at her reveals a much more disheveled than usual. Hair in a bit of a mess, probably flattened in a hurry. The back of her dress also shows stains of dirt in places it rarely gets into. She's also leaning more on using her left arm. She's right-handed. Perhaps the most telling is the slight limp she has, noticeable once Isabella leads her into the room. It all sprouts a hatful of questions. What exactly happened and how she ended up in that state? Pretty sure a simple trip to the library won't do that. I grab for her arm before she can walk past, carefully to avoid hurting her, in case there really is an injury. Seems like it at first glance, but you can't be sure until after a careful examination has been made. I suspect some bruising, at least. Although minor internal fractures aren't out of the equation, they have a nasty way of staying hidden. Sure enough, Becca tenses immediately upon contact. Tries to pull back, although the sudden gesture only elicits another wince, forcing her and Isabella to a halt.
Oh, galit pare.
God, si Rebecca. Both of them turn to me almost the same time, their eyes searching mine for answers. Rebecca, for her part, doesn't appear quite pleased with the interruption, or the fact someone has brought it to light. But that someone also has to make sure. Ito na, baka mapuno na natin yung ano niyan.
Oh,
Ni Rebecca Gales. Please tell me they do something dangerous. Are you alright?
You okay?
First one.
You're limping.
Oh, dalawa.
Ay, shit. Kulang pa.
Puno na yan, pare. You're limping. As expected, she tries to hide it. This time, when she squirms from my grasp, it's with enough force. She almost stumbles back if Zach hadn't caught her by the elbow. Even with 2 more people shooting her concerned looks, she's swift to shrug it off.
It's fine. I just had a little accident.
Why are we still hiding the fact that the ghost attacked you? Why? What's the purpose of it?
Tanga lang.
Little accident. Hard to believe when her other arm's nursing the supposedly fine arm. Isabella doesn't buy any of it either.
In a library? Well, yeah. It kinda caught me off guard.
Something's happened there, hasn't it?
I don't have to elaborate on the question further. Shortly, she goes very still, and the hand placed over her right arm shifts ever so slightly, its grip on the limb tightening. Not too firm to hurt, but just enough for a gesture of comfort for herself. Warily, she casts a glance at everyone in the room, but only the one she spares for Isabella lingers longer, and in that moment, something unspoken passes between them. An understanding. It strikes me seconds later how utterly familiar her expression is. It's the same one I've seen far too many times in Isabella. Since that day at the movie house, every time her attempts to warn us have been so rudely dismissed.
Let me see.
Can we? We have to check if it's bad.
Rebecca hesitates for a moment. Then, after a minute of consideration, she sighs and reaches for the hem of her sleeve, raises it just enough for Isabella to take a good look at. Not swollen, but a large portion of her skin's starting to turn an ugly shade of purple.
Oh, that is gonna be one hell of a nasty bruise.
Tell me about it. It was a library cart that hit me. You know, the old metal ones they keep near the history section.
Ouch! Like I said, nasty.
But she's there? She went after you. Yeah, I was in the archives, looking something up. Suddenly, she was just there.
Yeah.
Belle, she was using my own students against me. What kind of terrible person does that?
He does.
Oh, it makes my blood boil.
The ghost.
You should have just ran.
And
That
even
woman's not
spirit.
something you can hit with a book.
Aha, but that's where you're wrong, Ash. We did hit her with a book. Hindi mo na ano yun eh. Pero na ano yun, na yung naalala mo yung, di ba yung thumbnail nung latest na pinost natin? Yung nasa taas yung ghost, yung naka-Spider-Man. Cornered si Rebecca dun. Then ang ginawa niya, parang, siyempre, the nearest thing that she can throw is a book. Binato niya ng libro. Sumigaw yung ghost. Then, she ran.
Cool.
And that's when, the cart hit her. Kasi palabas na siya, biglang boom. the cart hit her, then, you know, the QTE happened, and then, yeah, we're out of the library, we're safe.
Oh.
So, we did hit her with a book.
The ghost
Laugh
was
it
like,
up, Ashton, I
information,
did.
no!
Then the bloody cart came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, so sinabi na rin pala niya. Ayun, I did. Then the bloody cart came out of nowhere.
And you know what? If it weren't for a damn book, I would be dead by now.
No, if it weren't for me, for my choice, you would be dead. Silence descends in the room as the gravity of that one word hits all of us. Ano nangyari? Ano ba tayo? Pagdating natin dito, we stop.
Hindi ko alam kung saan ka tumuro.
Dead.
Hindi ko alam kung saan ka tumuro since hindi ko kita yung mouse.
Ito. Ay, ito, nandito na.
Ay,
Ito, yung common route. Sabi ko pag dito tayo.